TGIF, everyone. Greetings, greetings. What's happening? What is going on? How are you all doing today? Hope you are enjoying the beginning of the weekend. Depends on where part of the world you are in. Either you just got snow, expecting snow, or enjoying 60 degrees on your porch with a t shirt on. People do try to rub it in for some reason. But I hope you all are doing well. Welcome on in. Oh, what's been going on with people besides the weather? What have I seen that I can share with you with my beginning of rambling? Let's see. What would I like to share? But my list says Groupon. I purchased a Groupon. I got a donation for um, massages. So what I want to do is spread the money out because I'm frugal like that. I don't waste anyone's money. I don't waste my own, so I'm not gonna waste anyone else's money, gift or no gift. So I did a little surfing on Groupon. I was reading reviews of different people and all of that, and well, I found a great place, and I purchased them in October. And I had my mind set on when I'm going to use them. I said, well, I'm going to use them next year. I'm going to use them in March or April. So I go to get ready to get the phone number, see what the appointment dates are for the place. And, well, according to the status, it says that it has been used. I'm like, used? I wonder how it's used when I didn't use it. Hmm. Well, let me look into this. So they had an actual chat site. I'm like, oh, wonderful. And it moved up in the world. So I used the chat function and I gave them the purchase number, and they stated that it shows that it has been used. I said, that's what I see on my end, and that is why I'm calling or messaging. What's going on? Because I have not been back on the site since I purchased them. So, no, I have not used them. So, what is the solution? And they said, no problem, just a minute. And they did some whatever maneuvering, and it shows unused. They reset it. So the guy said, okay, I reset it for you. You should have no problem using them. I said, okay, thank you. But, I'm still curious about that. What was that all about? So when I book my appointments next month, I will verify that these people will get paid because I don't want any problems. I'm not about that. And I will throw a fit. I have no problem doing that. So we're going to see what happens. We will check it out. I'm like, man, the fraud is it's just rearing its ugly head everywhere. Can't even get a darn discount. Next thing on the list to tell you guys is about the at-home kits. You should have started receiving them because whenever I posted and told you guys, if you requested your at-home kits for the COVID test, you would have gotten it last week, maybe last weekend, or by now. Well, then again, it depends on where you live. But I received mine last week, and it was Saturday evening when I got my mail. So I'm like, okay, well, I can report to the people that, they should be coming in. You should have them by now. So that's a good thing. Now, what I'm looking for next is the mask, because I got information that they're going to send out the new mask. However, I didn't get a direct link. So that's what I'm waiting on. So as soon as I get that, then I'll tell you guys. Okay. Greetings, everyone. How you doing, Emmanuel? Good to see you anytime. Don Teasy, are you taking it easy? Mr. DJ Music, 70 degrees. That's nice. Rub it on in. That's all right. Lady V, how you doing, Vonda? Welcome on in. Sir Obadiah, how are you doing? You handling business over there? I hope you're handling business over there. It's interesting. Hi, Celine. How are you? Let's see. Get everybody. I think I have. Okay. Um, I just witnessed a situation. I guess that's what I would call it. And the details I will tell you is, um, if someone tells you that they'll hit you up later, just accept that. If you try to hit them up before they hit you up and they don't hit you back, you can try maybe once more, but after that, it becomes kind of stalkerish, if you will. So just try to take it easy. That's what I got to say on that. Just try to take it easy. Don Tease, you talking about food? Yeah, I got me some wine tonight. I know Vonda will clutch her pearls, so I said, well, let me get my giggle on, have me a little wine, enjoy my evening. Because what we're going to discuss um, is second chances, I guess you would say. Do everyone deserve them? I think so. If you pay your whatever your debt is to society, um, unless you're violent or something. Hey, no, that's another story. But I want to see what people say when it comes down to the dating world. We should have a nice little discussion tonight. Look forward to it. And Pastor Willie gives her regards. She stated that she'll have to see us next month because this month was a little short. She had something booked, wasn't able to make it. So, hey, as I said, she gives her regards. So, we'll look forward to seeing her next month. All right, without any further ado, you all know what to do. Let's greet the wonderful, the lovely, the classic Ruby, everybody.
Well, salutations, good evening, bonjour, salut mes amis, comment ça va cette vendredi? Oui, oui, oui. Aujourd'hui, je suis français, Char. Comment ça va? Comment ça va?
Mama sa kumakusa.
Oh, I've been thinking about this, my entrance in French for a couple of days. I'm like, I wonder what Char's gonna say. That was even better than what I was imagining. So thank you for that. How you
You're
doing
welcome.
this evening, Char? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm like Lady V. I'm red tea for my wine. That's what I'm ready.
Okay, now I hear y'all. I hear y'all. Listen, y'all drink an extra sip for me because I can't drink,
Oh,
but it doesn't mean that I can't live vicariously through others' wine. You know what I mean? Just a little, just give me a little drop. If you're drinking red, Vonda's drinking white, just give me a little of each. It's good. I can enjoy that. I can remember and live vicariously through y'all. It goes to
all
your
right.
head, tickles your nose from all that champagne. But you know what I mean. It's a
Yeah,
good warm feeling on a nice cold night, right? So
yeah, you got it.
exactly, right? I'm not a complete teetotaler, okay? And I'm not old and out of touch for those of y'all who think I might be. I'm not cool enough for y'all. I'm cool. I'm young, I'm hip, I'm in touch. I'm in the know. Don't worry, I'll prove it tonight. Y'all will see. My opinion is gonna be so cool and now and hip, not just hip, but hip. Yeah. Mhm. That's not like a 1940s throwback. Yeah, so we're good.
They don't know. They're not ready for it. They not. They're
That's what
not.
I'm saying. See, wise minds think alike, right? It's not that I'm out of touch. They're just not ready for it. I'm so far advanced that they can't even see it in the horizon yet, but it's on the way. Sorry, y'all will catch up eventually. It's all right. Us cool
Yeah.
people over here, we know what's what. All right. Now that we've
Yeah.
clarified that.
All right. Let's see. Well, like I said, this is gonna be interesting. Depends on. I'm just curious who's going to, join in and give their opinion because it
hmm
is. I find it interesting. There's some things I'm listening to. I'm like, okay, and then there's some other things I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I already know Vonda's gonna clutch her pearls. She will.
hmm hmm
I already know it's coming.
Ain't it always? Come on.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll start off a little Friday dance, loosen up a little bit. We had a
Ooh.
little cheer, we were cheering last week. It was
hmm
we really got a lot of exercise. So this one we'll just get a little 45-second exercise this time, just to
All
warm
right.
up a little bit. It don't have to be a whole lot.
hmm
All right, here we go with the Friday dance.
All
Look
right.
at him. We gon' start this thing over. Groove all in the motherfucking house. Come on, come on. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby, take a baby. Make you a baby. I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. Ain't gonna break it off with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't gonna break it off with you. I'm living my best life. Ain't gonna break it off with you.
All right, I'm warmed up now. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Nice and warm. Got this. All right.
All right. So we'll play second chance. I call it second chance, but it's can you accept the flaws? That's all. Let's see.
Okay.
Where's the button? I got a couple extra tabs open this time, but I found it. All right, here we go.
All right.
How you doing?
Move back a little bit,
Can you see
baby.
me?
You got some light?
Oh, you can't see me?
Let's see.
Like this? I'm gonna get into the light real
Okay,
quick.
let's get into the light.
How you doing?
Baby, how many tattoos you got on your face?
I got about 8.
8 tattoos?
Yeah, I got about 8 of them.
Where do you work?
I'm a chef.
You're a chef. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a teardrop under your eye?
I got 3 of them.
Does that mean you killed 3 people?
No, it means I lost. One of them is for my mother.
Okay.
She got killed when I was 2. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's good.
I'm sorry to hear that. I asked that question because that's what I was told about teardrops under eyes.
I mean, yeah, it is. A lot of times, if they've been shaded in, then that means that you have to kill somebody. So, you know.
Okay, but that's not
Mine
the case.
hasn't been shaded in.
Okay.
No, ma'am. No.
All right. Well, we're happy you're not a killer.
Yeah.
We are happy about that. All right, let's get to know you. What's your name, sweetheart?
Yakir. My real name is Yakir.
Jakir?
Yakir with a Y.
Yakir. So Yakir?
Mm-hmm.
Where you calling us from?
Yeah. I'm coming from Atlanta.
ATL? I'm in Atlanta.
Yep.
I get a lot of people from Atlanta when I'm in Atlanta. It's so funny.
This is actually my first time. Like, I just followed you probably like yesterday.
Okay, well, welcome to the party.
Yeah. I like what you got going on and how you represent the culture. So, and I never like, this is not like my first time. So I appreciate what you give to the community.
I appreciate that. Well, you better get ready because they're going to be all up in your DMs. They're going to be talking about you. So let's keep going. Yakir, Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, I already know.
You're a chef. You have any kids?
I got a son, a 5-year-old.
A 5-year-old. Why you not with the mom?
She took him from me.
Why she took him from you?
Cause she was jealous. She wanted me back. She knew what I bring to the table. Like I'm a provider. I love family. I grew up in a shelter, so I'm big on family and family oriented. And I recently, because I see the comments, I recently just got out of prison for beating up a police officer because he put his hands on my baby mama. So I don't hit women. And why you looking like that? Why you look? I mean, of course you see the tattoos, you automatically go. I mean, of course I've been to prison, so. But it was for. I feel like it was for a legitimate cause. But long story short, when I went to prison, my baby mama was like a month pregnant with my son. So I got out of prison. He was already 3 years old, and I did everything I could possibly do to maintain contact to get in my son's life. And when the opportunity presented itself for me to do so, she got jealous because she felt like that she used my son against me to try to get me back with her, but she wasn't living the same lifestyle that I required to live because I wanted change in my life. She was still running the streets and doing whatever she wanted to do. So 2019, March the 22nd was my son's birthday, and she came to my sister's crib at the party. And I didn't really want her to come, but I would never put myself in a position to deny a mother to see her own son. She came to the birthday party, said she had a birthday party planned at her crib. and took my son, and that was basically the last time I spoke to her and saw her.
And this was when was this?
2 years ago.
And you can't find her at all?
No.
So does
Nope.
she have family members that can help you? Like, she doesn't have any family that can tell you where she is?
I mean, she got family, but I never had no contact with her family. I never had no no phone numbers, no social media accounts or whatever. A few of her friends basically hit me up, told me I need to get my son back because he's not in the best position in wherever she's at or whatever she's doing. But other than that, it's just like a dead open door.
So I got a question.
But,
so you went to jail for okay, so what was the situation? Because you said
I'll stop there because it's a little bit
pausing.
A little bit
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To unpack because I'll just start from the last thing he said, that he's getting information that his child is not in the best situation, and I'm not getting why these people, whoever these people are not revealing where he is. The son is. So this is interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna go back a little bit though. First of all, his name is Yuckier. Okay. Now, no, I know that's not how you pronounce it. You're supposed to pronounce it Yakir. But if you think about the way that must be spelled, it's basically Yuckier. Okay, so he's Yuckier. That's his name. First of all,
Lord.
Yuckier. Like, man, listen, if you guys don't think the names you give your children are prophetic, this dude's name is Yuckier. And I wholly support that branding. Now, the second thing about that, and here's my thing about Yuckier over here. Okay, gentlemen, because I know the men like to sometimes be like, okay, let me ask y'all a question. Now, I already have, right? I'm describing new me. Now, there's another me on the planet somewhere, right? And her name is Hoisha. Okay. Now you're supposed to pronounce it Hoisha, but it's spelled Hoisha. Okay. So that's the first thing. so now Hoisha, right? Hoisha. I was clearly a big fat hoe. Right? That I have a bunch of kids out of wedlock. Well, even just one. Let's just say I had one kid out of wedlock. Okay. And then I got myself locked up, but it wasn't really my fault. I was just ride or dying for my baby daddy. He didn't let me go sit in jail for several years. Right? Now, not only do I not have custody of my kids, but I can't see my kids. Okay. This situation we have. Now, I say my baby daddy's being spiteful against me because I want to change my life and he won't live according to that. But when I show up on the dating show, I still am presenting like a hoe, right? Like I have the whole full hoe gear on, right? I got my hair plastered to my face, fried dilated aside, so much extra gel, that whole makeup, the whole makeup and the whole earrings and the whole nine, right? I'm presenting like a hoe, and I'm telling you though, I didn't get together with the father, my baby daddy. I don't even use father, baby daddy. I don't get together with my baby daddy because I needed him to adjust his life because I was changing my life, right? I had to rearrange my whole life, right? And he wouldn't change with me, but I'm still presenting like a hoe. And I tell you, my name's Hoisha. Okay, let me ask y'all a question. Does Hoisha deserve somebody above her baby daddy? Now, that's in essence the question we're going to be answering today, but in reverse. I say no, not even necessarily because of past mistakes. It's about how you present today. You cannot tell me you still present like you are currently in a prison gang, right? And that's how you walk around, and it's on your face. You can't even cover it up, and you're not even trying to. You didn't get some cover up makeup until you could afford laser surgery or something. No, you're proudly walking around with tattoos all over your face, and you're not a multi-billion-dollar rapper. So therefore, there's no other job you could get, right? That people aren't going to look at you like you're a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying is, no, I need someone above that level. But you've done nothing to present in a way that like say just an average middle class lifestyle would accept, right? And would accept the woman who chooses you and the family of that woman who's choosing you. Like to me, it is crazy. It is crazy that you could show up with your face tatted up, teardrops and all, talking about how you need a level up from your baby mama, and you still look like you live in the gutter. Like it just come on.
Even though he didn't say level up, you saying that that's what he's saying?
Well, that's what he said. He said that he required her to I mean, he didn't use the word level up, but that's
All
basically
right.
what he said. He required
Mhm.
her to upgrade or some word like that he
Yeah, she
used,
still
right?
wanted to run the streets apparently, and he was the good father, and that was not a mix. They weren't going to mix. So this bad mom took the kid away from this good man
Well,
because
not exactly, because he was in prison the whole child's life, and then he came out of prison, and he's saying
he
that
was
the
a
man
the pillar of the community when he got out. Ruby, didn't you hear him? That's what he alluded to.
apparently,
He
right?
was the pillar of the community, and she was still, ripping and running, and she was jealous because she still wanted to be with him, and he's like, no, I'm trying to get my life together. So
Right,
he
and
lets
upgrade
her
her now.
reckless ass run off with the kid, and him being a pillar of the community, I don't understand, or I didn't hear what he said he did to try to get back in contact with this kid. It was like, oh, she took him from me and I just let him go.
Right, and he
Yeah.
has no contact with the kid, right? As Shar pointed out, though, so
Mhm.
there's no family friends. No one knows where the kid is, but all those people who don't know have seen her with the kid enough that they come back to him and say, "Oh, she's treating that kid so bad. You need to take the kid away." Okay, well, where is the kid? I don't know. Seriously, that's his
Right.
story. That's his for real story. Like what?
Yeah,
No.
that's what he said. So I'm just gonna go by what he says. I'll, you know,
No,
we'll
he's
see a
full of
little bit
shit.
more.
I'm sorry. This sounds like
Something wrong.
another hopeless. I'm helpless. I'm a victim and
Uh-oh.
took my kid away, type thing. Um,
Right.
if she took the kid away, it could have very well been because, dude, you spent a decade in prison, so that's number one. But you mean to tell me you got out of prison and you superseded her with regards to, living uh a straightforward life, so much so that you could tell her, oh, you don't have your life together, I can't be with you.
Mhm. Right. I'm just saying. I mean, it wasn't a total. So he's been in prison for a total of a decade, but he didn't spend all of that time in prison at the same time. It's not like he did one
Right.
stint for one mistake because he said, a few months pregnant when he went to prison, right? For beating up the police officer who put his hands on the pregnant baby moms. So,
Right.
and then he got out. When he got out, the kid was 3. So that means that was one prison stint out of many, obviously, that total up to 11 years. So you're trying to say after literally just multiple times going back to prison, back to prison, back to prison, this time you got out, you're a model citizen, and this woman with a 3-year-old who's been raising the 3-year-old by herself from the beginning because you got yourself locked up almost immediately, right? She was way too busy living in the gutter, right? And you were like, "Come on, babe, let's just live an honest life now. Let's just be clean, good living parents." And she was like, "Hell no, I don't want to do that. Screw that." Right. And so you said, "Well, then I can't be with you." And then she said, "Well, fine, you're not going to see your kid no more." And then she took the kid and started abusing the kid and or treating the kid badly in such a way that people would think the kid should be taken away. Right. And
Mhm.
then what happened is, that because people y'all know in common are telling you that this is what they're seeing with their own eyes. But yet there's no way for you to see the kid, for you to subpoena for your kids and nothing because you don't know where the kid is. And even though everyone keeps seeing her mistreat the child, right? They have no idea where the kid is either. Okay.
That's the word on the street
Yeah. Oh,
from him.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
All
Makes
right.
perfect
So
sense. Yep.
so we'll play some more.
Mm-hmm.
And let me go back just an inch. All right, here we go.
So I got a question.
But
So you went to jail for being okay. So what was the situation? Because you said you went to prison for being up a cop that was beating up this woman. I'm assuming your child's mother.
yes, ma'am.
So what happened?
Well, I was in a gas station in College Park pumping gas, and basically it was my baby mama, her best friends in a car. And we was at the club, and I guess, you know, they were still hyped up. You know, they out there dancing or whatever. And he came and tried to basically, like, use his badge to, you know, telling them to turn down the music. And when they turned down the music, he just basically, it was just like basically harassment. And then it went from that to him actually trying to flirt with my baby mama. And she told him that, I mean, we've never been in a relationship, but she basically was like, my dude is in the gas station. So he was belligerent. He was like being combative and actually argumentative. Like no matter how many times she told him no and leave her alone, that's when he want to try to like search the vehicle. I come outside, I put gas in the car, and he asked me all these type of questions like, who is these females to you? And I'm like, why you want to know? So it came to the point where he told my baby mama to step out the car. She refused to. And then he grabbed her out the car, like snatched her out the car, whatever. And, you know, the rest was history.
And how many years in prison did you have to do?
I did 3 for that.
3. Did you go to prison for something else?
Yeah.
Well, what else did you go to prison for?
Okay.
I did altogether. I did 11 years.
Oh, so what did you do for the other 9 years?
I got into. Okay, so I'm from New Orleans, and
okay,
all right.
I grew up in the shelter. I basically, I went to prison as a child. I was like 16 years old when I went to prison, and just hanging around the wrong crowd. Being like, I'm very loyal, so I was on that. You know, these my partners, these my homeboys, and really like just hanging around the wrong crowd. Got caught up in like some armed robberies and stuff like that, which I don't rob nobody, but you know, living the lifestyle that I had, I didn't have a fortunate lifestyle. I wasn't like raised like everybody else. I didn't have the opportunities. I didn't have the financial, you know, freedom or comfortability to be able to be successful in my life. My father's white and he a police officer. And, you know, I wanted to be a police officer at that time or be in the Army, but, you know, things happen. God put me on a different journey. So, you know, now I do motivational speaking. I wrote 3 books. I do music. I write poetry. So I go to like juveniles and basketball games and stuff and birthday parties or whatever, you know, and so that's what I do now.
Okay.
But,
well, listen, I'm not gonna badger you on the reason, but you didn't give me the reason why you went to jail for the other, I guess it's 8 years. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. It's I mean, you don't have to. I'm not gonna badger that answer out of you. That's not a requirement answer. You did tell us you was in jail for 11 years, so we'll leave it at that. How old are you, White here?
I'm 36.
No.
36.
Can we
How long have you been out of prison though? Can you at least answer that?
Yeah, I've been out going on 4 years.
Okay, so you've been out of jail for 4 years. All right, so you're in Atlanta. You're a chef. You have one son that's 5. You've been out of jail for 4 years. You spent 11 years in prison. When's your birthday?
September 26th.
September 26th. Is that a Virgo or a Libra?
Libra.
Wait, no, but that doesn't make any sense. That math doesn't make sense. How has he been out of prison for 4 years and he's got a 5-year-old? He can't have a 5-year-old because when he got out of prison, the kid was 3. So if he's been out for 4 years, now the kid's 7. First of all, so
girl, I'm thinking I added it all up, and I'm like, oh, that kid's a teenager. Because I'm like, okay, he went in, he did 11 years. I'm like, his story, all the math in his story is just does not add up.
I'm just saying, right? Because he was 16 when he went in, right? So if he did a total of 11 years, right? He was 16 when he went in. He didn't give us any type of actual timeline. He said he doesn't rob nobody, but he went to prison for armed robbery. So, okay. And then he also went to prison for beating up a cop. Okay. And then he has the kid, and the kid is some age between 5 and who knows? Because his timelines are not making sense right now. We don't know. He's trying to make it sound like all of the prison stuff was like mostly useful misadventure. until like the last little stint, and that was just him being, chivalrous. It's like, really?
But did you hear what he said when he said that him and the girl, she was his baby mom, but they weren't in a relationship.
Yeah.
They weren't in a relationship. And I'm like, what? So basically, he beat the cop up or jumped on the cop or assaulted the cop because the cop was trying to get at his baby mama, who he didn't want no way because he wasn't in a relationship with her.
Right. Which is exactly, he tried to bring up some other stuff later and try to paint a picture that everyone would relate to, but he told us what his priority was, which is this cop was hitting on her. That was what his issue was. Period. Point blank. Cop was hitting on her. She said, I got it, man. He said, what your man got to do with me, right? I got it,
well,
man.
He's not really my man. He just my baby daddy, but we not
exactly.
really together, but, he protects me. I mean,
girl, I heard that song.
Lady, I agree with you. This is some prison babble. I agree. It sounds like prison babble to me because none of his sequences are adding up.
Right, at all. Nope. That's just my baby daddy. Who that? That's just my baby daddy. Who's that? That's just my baby daddy. I said that's just my baby daddy. Like that's like, and he got mad and beat up a cop over that. Like, wait, what? Okay. Are you sure? Because he didn't even in the story. He didn't talk about the time that the cop put the hands on the baby moms in a aggressive way or whatever. He said he asked her to step out of the car, and then the rest is history. Wait, what? No, you said I beat up a cop for putting his hands on the baby mother.
I thought I heard that. I'll rewind it back. I thought I heard him
that's
say.
That's exactly what he said. I heard that too, Char.
Could be. Let me go back a little bit. Let me see. I heard him say he told her and pulled her or something.
I do motivational speaking. I wrote 3 books. I do music.
But you didn't give me the reason why you went to jail for the other. I guess it's 8 years. But it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. It's. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not gonna badger that answer.
I go back further.
Further back than that.
We've never been in a relationship, but she basically was like, my dude is in the gas station. So he was belligerent. He was like being combative and actually argumentative. Like no matter how many times she told him no and leave her alone, that's when he want to try to like search the vehicle. I come outside, I put gas in the car, and he asked me all these type of questions like, who is these females to you? And I'm like, why you want to know? So it came to the point where he told my baby mama to step out the car. She refused to. And then he grabbed her out the car, like snatched her out the car. Whatever.
Okay. I just want to make sure because when you hear different stories and you're like, no? Oh, okay. Let me see. Where was I?
Okay, why were they having police contact in the first place? Did somebody run a stoplight, or did the police officer smell weed in the car, or somebody have a 40? They was drinking it in the passenger seat. Why did the cop? He just walked up to y'all and just started talking. Oh, she's cute. Let me try to talk to her.
That's what I think happened.
Well, that does happen. So that could happen. Yeah. So that And
she was only a few months pregnant, right? And when you're like 3-4 months pregnant, you don't really show that much, do you?
No, he said a month. She was a month pregnant when he went to jail. So
even that,
she barely had morning sickness,
right?
When he went to jail, and they weren't even together. So they were just knocking boots, but they were not in a relationship.
Right? Exactly.
He made that very clear.
But he's possessive. So he's telling you he's a possessive type dude. Even if he don't claim you as his wife, as his woman, no, he's a possessive kind of guy, right? And that possessiveness makes him get hot under the collar. So he's letting us know that. But don't worry about it, guys, because now he writes books and gives motivational speeches. Although I really felt like he started off by saying he was a chef. So I guess he's a chef who writes books and does motivational speeches. Man, in the last 4 years, he's really advanced his life, right? Because, to write multiple books, to develop your life to the point where people would want to hear a motivational speech from you, and then to give the motivational speeches, all while you are being chef de cuisine somewhere. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a lot to me. But I'm also a very lazy person. Let's ask the working people. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Right.
that's not, if that, instead of watching television and you just create stuff and you start writing things down, yeah, that's possible.
Mm, okay, yeah, that's writing books.
I'd like to hear a little bit more of his shaky, shady story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Okay.
do it.
That doesn't hold math very well.
No, no.
All right.
And actually giving my child or any my future children a
Let's see where we
And
left
according to your story, you went to prison for her, and then she took your
Mhm.
child and left.
I mean, there's a lot of resentment because, I mean, it's cliche in the world we're living in that, you know, black men are deadbeat fathers and they don't like to take care of their children. And I often see, and even when I was in doing my incarceration, that there are black men out there that want to be in their child's life. I do feel like that if you have two parents that can't come to an agreement, or, you know, that argue, you should keep the child out of it. So I try to break a generational curse in actually giving my child or any my future children a life that I never had before. So it's depressing, it's sad, and it's hurtful because my child was never an accident. I actually had my child on purpose because I thought that was going to change me or give me that push that I need to actually be successful and to humble myself. So, but simultaneously, you know, I don't hate her. I can't, you know, because she's the mother of my child. I just wish that she had better ways of going about doing certain things. And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
Got
to
you.
a certain extent.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we got a lot of backstory from you tonight, but now let's get to our general questions. Why, Kiera, what kind of woman are you looking for?
I mean, me personally, I believe in reciprocation. So I hate when women create expectations for men that they can't fulfill themselves. And so I believe I just actually got out of a relationship, but it was my fault. You know, I don't cheat. I just, you know, I'm dealing with like emotional issues. Like they say I'm toxic. So, but really, I just want somebody that's real, loyal, and honesty. I'm not big on the looks department. Because that really don't matter. You know, I met a lot of beautiful women living in Atlanta that got nasty attitudes, so that make them less attractive. So it really is not about looks. It's just I just really want somebody that is able to accept me of my flaws and accept who I am, and really don't mind taking the time out to find out who I am, what I am, and why I am.
Okay. Do you have any strong deal breakers? Something you absolutely would not date?
Say that again.
Anything that you will not date, like something that no matter what, like a deal breaker for you.
Oh, I hate gold diggers.
Gold diggers.
Yeah, because I'm a provider. Like the female that's really my ex now, we still speak. When I first met her, before I actually met her,
Whoa, can you
like
rewind
before
that
we
last
actually
sentence?
solidified our relationship and friendship, and we went out on a date.
All right,
I looked at her nails and I was like, "Oh, you need to get your nails done." And I'm finna take care of that man that they can't fulfill themselves. And so I believe I just actually got out of a relationship, but it was my fault. You know, I don't cheat. I just, you know, I'm dealing with like emotional issues. Like they say I'm toxic. So, but really, I just want somebody that's real, loyal, and honesty. I'm not big on the looks department, because that really don't matter. You know, I met a lot of beautiful women living in Atlanta that got nasty attitudes, so that make them less attractive. So it really is not about looks. It's just I just really want somebody that is able to accept me of my flaws and accept who I am, and really don't mind taking the time out to find out who I am, what I am, and why I am.
Okay. Do you have any strong deal breakers? Something you absolutely would not date?
Say that again.
Anything that you will not date, like something that no matter what, like a deal breaker for you.
Oh, I hate gold diggers.
Gold diggers.
Yeah, because I'm a provider. Like the female that's really my ex now, we still speak. When I first met her, before I actually met her, I mean, like before we actually solidified our relationship or friendship and we went out on a date, I looked at her nails and I was like, oh, you need to get your nails done. And I'm finna take care of that for you. And she was independent, you know, and she basically was like, you know, I'm finna get my nails done this week, boy. Don't be talking about my nails. So I'm like, nah, you kicking it with me, you gonna get your nails done. So she was on the phone talking to one of her homegirls, and her homegirls was like, girl, you better let him take your nails done because you ain't got too many dudes like that. But you know, I know in the lifestyle we live in, men like to use their money to gain attraction of a female, but say they don't like gold diggers. Women use their body to gain their attraction and they sex appeal for men, but don't like when all the men want to do is have sex. So, but I don't want to change my characteristics for being a provider and mess around and fall into the depths of a gold digger because she see that I like going on dates. I'm adventurous. I'm spontaneous. I like hiking in parks. I like climbing up Stone Mountain. And a lot of females get the misconception that, okay, either he'll go, like, you know, I don't know if men create gold diggers by flaunting their money or just actually being like able or wanting to do things like being a traditional man. Like, like I said, I think men are providers. Okay. I think we also supposed to be the initiators and take females out on dates, but sometimes that can go left.
Okay. Someone
said, okay, pause.
Yeah, I got something to say too.
This is why Carolyn.
Because this has gone too far now. Go ahead, Vonda. Go ahead.
Now, okay. Now he wants to sit up here and he wants to say he's a provider. So if she needs her nails done, he'll get her nails done. Can someone please tell him getting your nails done is not providing shit? Right. Getting some nails done is not providing a goddamn thing. Exactly. Now, if you are really calling yourself a provider, what you got on this mortgage, what you got on this car payment, if you are a provider, what he's talking about is just basically dating a woman. I mean, to date a woman, you don't have to get her nails done. Her nails were done before she got with you. If you're taking her out on a date, what is the harm in taking a woman out and providing on the date if you're taking her out? That's not a gold digger. So a woman who expects a man to take her out for a nice meal is not a gold digger. That's not a gold digger. You know, but for a woman to get with a man and say, oh, he can be broke, I just want to love him, that's an idiot. So you need to be able to have money in your pocket. And if you don't have money in your pocket, why are you trying to even date? So it doesn't have anything to do with the gold. If that was the case, she would already know that something was glittering on you by the way that you carried yourself. If you led with your money, she's going to be like, oh, let me dig a little deeper. Is there some more gold in them pockets? You know, not just can I get my nails done? Because she can already do that for herself. That's not a big deal. $50, $75 to get your nails done is not a stretch. And if a man is broke after getting his woman's nails done for $75, he don't need to be dating. Or he don't need to be offering to get her nails done.
Right. And let's push that a little bit further. Because here's the thing, okay? So out of 100% of men, right? 90% of men don't like gold diggers for a completely different reason than the top 10% of men don't like gold diggers. Okay. The top 10% of financial earners, right, don't like gold diggers because they don't like women who seek them out specifically to try to gain wealth, assets, whatever, basically use them and have no intentions of doing anything but trying to, you know, bleed them dry of money. The other 90% of men, because that's the very large majority, are average financial earners, okay? They don't like gold diggers because they're thinking of the really hot, sexy woman who's a gold digger that they have no access to because they do not have enough money to even be on the radar of the gold digger. the very large majority of men do not have access to the gold digger. So I don't know why average earning men want to even use that argument. Oh, I don't like gold diggers. You've never been with one because you can't afford one. Like literally the very first 10 seconds she sees you, she would dismiss you altogether. You can't afford a gold digger because gold diggers are using cues in the environment to tell her that you have a lot of not only disposable income, but that you are not cheap, so you're willing to spend it on her. She needs that foot in the door. You, sir, do not look expensive enough that you have ever in your life met a gold digger in a I'm dating her kind of way. That's thing number one. Thing number two, dude, you are leading with your wallet trying to buy women. So you are trying to sweep them off their feet via financial provision that you can afford, which amounts to basic, but still, that's what you're doing. Because as he said, the girl he's not with anymore, but he's cool with her still. What did he do? He didn't try to romance her, talk about, charm her with personality and whatever, right? He led with, let me buy you something.
Let me get your nails done.
Exactly.
Ooh, big spender.
Right, but for him it's big spending, right? So that's telling you, first of all, it's big spending.
That tells me he ain't got no gold. If that was the highlight of your life, to get her damn nails done, yeah, you don't have no gold, dude. No, you don't have any gold,
right? But he's also the kind of guy that gets used for money, because all he's doing is leading with his wallet. So he's in essence selling the wallet to women. He's saying, listen, I have no personality or other type of support or whatever to give you, right? So everything that's going to come out of my mouth is going to be something to try to buy you. And then at the same time, you're going to complain and say, I don't want gold diggers. Okay, well, then don't leave with your wallet. Start making the approach. Let me buy you something. Let me get your nails done. Let me get your hair did, girl.
You know what? And I've always been cautious of men who were like that. Oh, you need your nails done, or you need your. I'm like, no. If I already don't have my nails done, I don't need a man telling me I need to get my nails done, and I should be more willing to get my nails done because he's paying for it. I don't get my nails done. My nails look nice. I don't need to have 10-inch nails on because you feel like I need to have that on, or you want to send me to the salon to get my hair done. When you met me, did you not like the product the way it was already packaged? I'm assuming I would have already come complete in that area. I don't need a man offering me to get my nails done and get my hair done. And even if a man did that, that's not gold. That's not gold. It's trinkets. It's maybe some gold dust. Maybe even that. It's not gold. So I don't understand. Feeding a woman, on a date, $100 meal, $50 a piece, you spending $50 on her to eat, getting some nails done is gold. That there's no gold in them pockets. That's not gold.
No. And I'll tell you something. I actually find that really insulting. Now, the reason why I find it insulting is I'm not the girl who's running to, put fake nails and all kinds of nail polish and crap on my fingers and toes. I mean, I try to make sure that they clean and they don't look too jagged and crazy. But, like if they're visible. But at the end of the day, I'm not that girl. And with my hair, I tend to lean towards simplicity. And, as long as it's, again, not a wreck, I'm good. So I'm telling you, I've always felt a little low-key insulted when guys lead with that, because it feels like, to me, right, you're telling me there's something wrong with me, right? Like, hey, I see potential in you, but you look kind of like a wreck. Well, I'll do your nails and maybe your hair, and then maybe you'll look decent enough I'd walk on the streets with you. That's how I've always personally taken it. So you also have to be careful with that, because you might be making the wrong insinuation to the wrong woman. Not all women are, if they had their choice, they would have those 10-inch nails and everything done to the gods. Not every woman's like that.
I don't need no man coming to tell me that, if a man met me and he was attracted to me and I was attracted to him and we had some conversation, and the first thing out his mouth is, oh, let me get your nails done, and my nails, look normal. Oh, let me get your hair done. It's like, dude, why why are you trying to make me over? I mean,
Right.
you weren't attracted to me the way that I was already. I would definitely be offended by that as well. I would definitely be offended. And my thing is that a man who comes at a woman like that, he's looking for some sort of a high maintenance woman. But then when you get a high maintenance woman, you're a little upset, or you like, damn, I can't, damn, I got the booby prize. I paid for that. But you chased after it. You chase after that type of, there are some women, nails done every week, hair salon every single week, and if you're looking for that type of high maintenance woman, why is she a gold digger if you already know she's freaking high maintenance?
Right. And they create it, right? When I was 16, the guy that I was dating, right, he wanted to create an image in me, right? So I am naturally beautiful. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm saying that's just what it was. But he wanted me to look like one of the more classy girls. Now, I wasn't about to walk around in skirts and crap all the time. I just wasn't. It was not going to happen. So he had to work with that. But that being said, right, he wanted to change the fact that, I have weave in my head every day. That's where it started. It started with me being with him. He wanted my hair did all the time. He wanted my nails did and my toes and my feet did. It actually, interestingly enough, now again, I'm in Canada, different place. But he, prior to me, really, he had only dated white women, normally Italian women. He really likes Italian women. And, even the mother of his child was a white Italian woman. And they were that kind of woman, the woman who always gets a mani-pedi weekly and always, her hair's always perfectly on point and her body's always snatched and looking crazy and whatever. In fact, he didn't even care if she was a whore. His ex-girlfriend, the one he dated right before me, was a whore. He loves whores because he said, the whores do crazy, wild stuff. And he wants them to do that with him. So he's cool with that. The monogamy part, not that important. He's a Scorpio. But her also looking the way he wanted her to look, very important. And I, in my ever-loving stupidity of being 16 and therefore really not knowing what adults think like, so you could easily fool me by saying grown women, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And I believed it, right? So I tried to be a grown woman. Because he was grown. And I had the face where I looked old enough, right? But I still mentally was 16. So now with that being said, right, I was trying to change all of these things. And I hated the way I looked. I hated the way it made me feel about myself. I hated the way it made me feel in my natural state, because now I feel like I'm not measuring up. Like I look not good enough, just being me, the way God made me. And so, there are men like that though, but he'll admit it. That guy, he admits it. Like, yeah, no, he's creating that. And then he's also trying to create a need though. So if you're going to be constantly advising me on what clothes I should wear and and you're always paying for those things and paying for my hair and paying for my nails and you're in essence paying for a bunch of stuff out of my price range that I can afford and also pay my bills and stuff, right? Well, then now you've created a need where I have to rely on you for those things, right? If I want to maintain that life in any way, even though these are little things, just hair and nails and stuff, but I couldn't afford that at 16, right? With me working and going to school and whatever. And so if I want to maintain those things, I need him. And if I need him, then that also means I have to do what? I have to comply. I have to submit. I have to be in some type of, obeyance to his rules, to his wants, his needs, his whatever. And I got to show appreciation afterwards. So it actually is a manipulation tactic. It is. Even if it's only subconscious, you're manipulating a woman into needing you because you don't think that you have the stuff, the goods, right? That she would just need you in her life because of inherent qualities about you, just your character, the kind of man you are, and the way that you make her feel. That you don't think you could do that. So instead you have to manufacture some type of need, normally through some type of financial thing.
Well, for me, I did experience that. It didn't last long because I just fight back. I
Mm-hmm.
don't that doesn't work for me. I didn't want the makeup, and I did have something that my friend had made me laugh. I told her about it. I'm like, he keep talking about some getting some makeup. And she's like, girl, you don't need no makeup. She said, what the hell is his makeup?
Mm.
And I'm
Heard
so
that.
glad I wasn't drinking anything because I would spit it out. I laughed so hard, but it didn't last too much after that because, you know, you, that was a bit too much for me. You
Mhm.
know, trying to make me into whatever it is he desired. I don't know, but that wasn't working for me because it was talked about too much. I don't like that. It's every time we go out, it's something. You wear this, wear
Mhm.
that. It was too much for me. I didn't like that, and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. But now with this guy, I think he is repeating maybe what he has heard, or don't really know what the definition of a gold digger is. I do
Mhm.
agree that he hasn't experienced it or not, but that's something that you hear all the time. You just hear words, just guys repeating things. Well, I don't want this, I don't want that. And then
I'd
if you
like.
and then
Oh
if
no.
you try to ask them, "Oh, so you dated someone like that?" They
Mhm.
either get quiet, don't answer you, drop off the stream, or curse you out or whatever. They won't answer the question. But you'll if you can ask questions and find out where these comments are coming from, you'll realize they're just repeating what they heard in another live stream, other live stream. That's all it is.
Right.
I
And
think it's just a lot
go
of,
ahead.
guys complaining about women who require a man to at least have some money in his pocket before she'll date him. And to be honest, that's a smart thing to do. Why would a woman date a man who had no money? How are we dating if you don't have any money? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, how are we going to go to the movies? You can't pay for the movies. How are we going to get in a car and go anywhere if you don't have money to purchase the gas to get us from point A to point B? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, if she's saying, can you send me to college? That's a gold digger. Can you buy
Mhm.
me a Mercedes? That might be a gold digger. Can you put
Hmm.
this money down on this condo that I've been looking at? That right there is a gold digger. But a freaking $50 meal and some $75 nails and a $200 hairdo, that is not a freaking gold digger. And my thing is,
Mhm.
is that a lot of men don't even have any gold to say that someone tried to take their gold from them.
Mhm.
I'd like to see a man who had what would be the equivalent of some gold in his pocket talk about how he ran into nothing but women who wanted to milk him for his dough.
Well,
I'd like to hear that.
I'm gonna tell you, Vonda. I've been in several chat rooms and sat there quietly, and I have yet to hear anyone explain a situation about this goal that they own. So I don't think you'll ever get that answer. Just to let you know.
Um, I, I,
Mhm.
I just had questions like you guys, Sharp. Von the
Yeah.
Boo got questions. I got questions. I got questions. What can someone please identify this gold that women are just trying to suck every nickel out your pocket? You know,
Mm.
I'm
Mm. Well, what I want to know is that I got to give him the credit on this one, right?
Hmm.
Because he said he has no standards as far as looks, which is good because earlier he said, I don't think you should ask for things, right? That you aren't able to provide in the relationship. So, given his tattoo face, I'm happy. At least he doesn't have the looks thing as a requirement when it comes to this. But then, even with that, it's like, like you said, it really sounds like he just started throwing rhetoric out there, right? It's like you have
Yeah.
no standards as far as looks, so you don't care on that front. You're clearly your dating pool is not super. Your dating pool is the kind of woman who would be impressed that you offered to pay $25-$30 for her nails, right? Like that. That's your dating pool and so far you're kind of that's the upgrade you needed from the baby moms, obviously, because that's why you dated that girl. So Why does gold digger come into, like, Henry's asking you serious questions now, right? Apparently you really want to date someone for real, for real. You had to know the way that you look today. You came on the screen, you got a t-shirt and a tattoo face. You've been in prison for a total of 11 years, multiple times, armed robbery, beating up cops, da-da-da-da-da. You had to know that on site, no chick is looking at you and listening to this foolishness and saying, yeah, he's going to be my next bag. Right? Like, nobody does that.
Nobody. Got to get this man. Got to get him.
Like,
okay. Like he gonna rob you.
I'm saying, right? You know what I mean? If anything, exactly. You'd be like, yo, I have too much of a bang. I don't know what's gonna happen if I let him in my house. he might take my red bottoms. I don't know. Right? So my point is, he knows that he doesn't attract that anyway. Right? So it's crazy. Why would he bring that up? Like, that's not serious. Which then makes me worry about the kind of man who doesn't have any real standards. Like almost like he thinks so lowly of himself that he doesn't have any real set boundaries or expectations or wants or needs from a woman, which is why he had to pull this out of the rhetoric. Oh, I don't want gold diggers. You ain't getting those anyway. Right? So it's like he has no standards, which to me screams insecurity, right? A lack of identity, a lack of awareness.
He likes women who are not pretty. He wants a woman who has, dumbed down on her look because maybe he feels like he'll have, a better chance. A woman who's got some looks on her, according to him. I've met some beautiful women with some nasty attitudes. So it don't matter about the looks. I'll take an ugly woman. He didn't say that, but he said it doesn't matter about the looks. That he just threw the looks completely out the door. And you know what? Let's just keep it a buck. The average man is not going to throw looks completely out the door. He may say, oh, well, she doesn't have to be, Beyonce, but, he's not trying to date a chick that looks like him. They want some prettiness, they want some cuteness. And he's like, oh, looks don't matter. Looks don't matter at all. So you meet a woman who has, a foot in the middle of her forehead, 3 breasts going across the front, and an extra stomach. You're okay with that. If she got a great personality, that would be a beautiful story, but let's just keep it real.
Right. I mean, to an extent, obviously, I think to an extent, it's not a real relationship unless you are attracted to the other person. And that's on both sides. You have to have some type of physical attraction or stimulation in some way. Now, the physical attraction doesn't have to be based on looks. I mean, to be fair, there are people who are demisexuals, and I don't remember that one because I'm a demisexual.
Right? Intelligence. I'm a sapiosexual. I love intelligence. Right. Intelligence to me, I find to be utterly attractive. One of the most attractive things about a man is his intelligence. So when a man opens his mouth and nothing but dummy comes out of his mouth, I'm just like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, exactly. It doesn't matter how many 6 packs of abs he has, that just doesn't matter, because if I can't even hold a decent conversation, an intellectual, stimulating conversation with you, none of that to me matters. I'm completely turned off. Turned off.
Right. Exactly. So I'm saying there are men who are also like that. Like, for all that they really try to advertise, like every single man on here is just running around in his basic lizard brain and hot titties. Okay, I'm gonna marry her. Like, no, like, men also have that too, where they find, character quality traits in a woman so attractive that it makes them attracted to her, regardless of, physical appearance flaws. So that's possible, but he didn't even state characteristics. Like, even when he talked about the nasty attitude thing, he was talking about why he doesn't care about looks, and that's not a limitation. He wasn't talking about why it is that he listed good attitude on his list of things that he needs. Like, because he didn't list that. He was just saying, well, I don't know, pretty women can have terrible attitudes too, so that doesn't even matter. But then he didn't say, I need a great attitude. I need a woman with great character and great attitude, great personality. He didn't actually list that. right? Which is why I said I'm concerned about his level of like self, identity, as far as like, what do you need in a woman? I don't think he knows, because I don't think he knows who he is, what he's about, or where he's going. He's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks right now.
Okay. What else he have to say, Miss Char? I mean, for the life of me, I can only imagine.
Do you wanna imagine? Like, I know. It's rough. It's rough. This is a rough one. It's just a tattoo face, man. It's kind of like that guy who had the t-shirt. He came on and he didn't have a shirt on. It's like that for me. I just can't get over the tattoo face. I can't. It's too
Well,
much
you
for
know
me.
what? Once you go tattoo on the face, you can't take it back. It's like you got to own it. And you know what? At this point, he owning it. I give him that. So now he needs to meet somebody where he's at.
Testing 1 2 3.
There you
This
are.
thing ain't working.
HR, we got you.
Got
Let
you.
me you sure you want to leave? Leave.
Oh, Shar, you kicked yourself off, girl. I don't know what you did, but you kicked
Char, you're
yourself
not
off
trying to
your
be up here
stream.
with us. She just done
Right?
left us and said, you know what? Forget Bonda and Ruby. I'm
Right?
out.
Testing
I'm out.
1 2 3. Okay. Yeah, the mic stopped working, and I'm like, I can't get
There she
nothing.
is. There she is.
All right, we got you.
I hear you.
All right. I was gonna say, I don't know. I think with the shirt, you were just you couldn't get past it. You've been pretty good, and it's been 10 minutes in, so I think the
Right?
shirt was worse.
The shirt. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
In
think it was
reality, Shar, I wouldn't even talk to some. Listen, I'm not trying to be mean, but when I see people with tattoos on their face, I assume all kinds of stereotypical things. You're gonna rob me. I should protect my kids from you. I should, cross the
Yeah.
street. Like, I don't think good things from tattoos on faces. I can't. I would never date you. I would never invite you to my house. I wouldn't invite you to my party.
It tells me when someone does have a tattoo on their face, it just tells me that that right there was an all or nothing type of deal. Because once you put that tattoo on your face, there are certain types of jobs you've actually just eliminated yourself from. So are you a famous rapper or, a famous athlete,
Right.
and you got this big old mark across your forehead. So or are you an entrepreneur? I mean, there are some dudes that, hey, you can still make a living, looking like that.
Yeah.
Like him, he writes books. Gives inspirational, motivational speeches, apparently.
Yeah. Okay, let's play some more. You too much.
Just actually being like able or wanting to do things like being a traditional man, like like I said, I think men are providers. Okay. I think we also supposed to be the initiators to take females out on dates, but sometimes that can go left.
Okay. Someone said, dang, that was kind of facts. All right. You dropping gems over here, White Care. This is White Carolina, Chef. When is you're a Libra, he's 36, has a 4-year-old son, been out of jail for 4 years, has a 5-year-old son, excuse me. All right. Do you have an appearance, White Care? Does the woman gotta look a certain way?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm stuck on my light skin stuff, so and I know I ain't no ebony man of the month. I know I got flaws in it, whatever, but and I believe everybody has their ideal person. So I don't date big girls, but I believe everybody deserves love. I am kind of big on the looks departments because of who I am. Like I said, I do music. I perform.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's my current. I mean that's how I make my money, pay for my bills. But I do music. I do motivational speaking. I wrote 3 books. I'm a poet. So I'm one of them very few individuals that actually had. I had a fucked up lifestyle. Put it like that. So I didn't have I had a fucked up lifestyle. But prison humbled me. It educated me. It gave me a purpose. My third eye was open. I'm very in tune with my universe. So, I mean, it's sad to say to a certain extent that I had the tattoos is on my face because I know that makes me less approachable. But to me, it's a testimony within itself. So I feel like if you're ashamed of doing something, why do it? If you're ashamed of people knowing what you do, why do it? So I'm not ashamed of the man that I become or have became. And if a woman is willing to accept that, or even just give herself the time out to find out something different, I can go with it.
All right. Could the woman have kids?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want more kids?
I do.
Okay. What's the age range you want to date?
I mean, I don't date babies. So when I was young, I always liked it older women, or what I like to call mature women. I feel like the most wisest and individual people in the world are not just the ones with the most years in their life, but the ones with the most life in their years. So it's not really about age, it's about maturity and education.
Wait. Say that one more time. The wisest people are the ones with the most years and what'd you say? Say it again.
No, I said that the most mature and wisest people in the world are not just the ones with the most years in their life, but the ones with the most life in their years.
Okay. That was actually okay. Okay.
And that's basically mean that
I get it when
I was kind of poetic.
Like the time. So basically you're saying there's a
Kinda.
person that could be 65, right, but there could be a person that's 30 that lived more life than the 65-year-old. So you're saying that person will be more mature in the life years.
Really what I'm saying is like what Aaliyah said in her album cover, age ain't nothing but a number. So you can be, I'm not going to date nobody that's in their 20s.
You know, R. Kelly created that saying, and he was sleeping with her when she was a kid. So you sure you want to quote that?
Yeah, you better just back up off of that one.
Okay, you right. So I'm not, okay, that's a wrong analogy. I forgot what's going on in the world. But basically, that statement is basically saying that, I've met women that are younger than me, but their mature level, according to how they was brought up, is different from, I done met grown-ass children. I done met women that are grown and still thinking they in their 20s and their teens. And I done met women that have been in their 20s that act like they 30 or 40 years old. So mature, that's why I feel like it's the most, I know with age come experience. But if you was raised right, or you was like, I wasn't raised right, I became the man I became on my own. So it can go both ways. But
so what is the
I'm
age?
big on.
Okay, wait, can we pause for a second?
I'm 36. I say about the lowest I go as far as dating a woman for my age.
Okay. So first I want to say that he did not invent that life in your years and it's not how many years in your life, but how many life in your years that count. He did not actually invent that. It is often Abraham Lincoln is often credited with having said it, but the evidence states that governor of Illinois, what's his name, Adlai Stevenson II, used a lot of versions of this particular adage in speeches as early as 1952. So while he is a poet, he says, that is not part of his poetry. He heard it, he likes it, now he uses it, right? Just like age ain't nothing but a number. Like that, he wanted to throw that one in there. But okay.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that he didn't give credit? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what she's saying, Char. That is exactly.
Not Kevin said. Hit it.
And Kevin, 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 and Kevin.
I love that girl at the end.
I love that gold and black. Colors are hitting. Colors are hitting.
Yeah. Those were the colors of my grade 11 and 12 high school cheer squad. Gold and black. Yeah, go Chargers. Anyway, So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing I wanted to mention, though, is this man is obviously, again, he's proven that he doesn't know himself, and he's lost because he turns around and talks about how the looks don't matter, right? And he don't care about that because pretty girls can have bad attitude too, and did that, so looks don't matter. Then he turns around and like not even 2 minutes later says, looks are actually a really big deal for me, you know?
I'm big on the looks department. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not what you said 30 seconds ago, sir. That is not what you said.
Right. And, you know, and then he's talking about how now all of a sudden he's a rapper. Wait a minute. Everybody asked you, sir, what your life is about and what you are. And you very clearly told us you're a motivational speaker. Okay. And you wrote 3 books. And now all of a sudden you're also a rapper. At 36 years old, you decided you're going to get into rapping now. At 36 years old, because apparently it's an old man's game. Cool.
Girl, the average rapper is 40 years old.
Yeah, the average rapper's been rapping since he was 17. He just didn't get any type of fame for a while, right? But this one sounds like he just decided to pick this up, because otherwise it would have been something he mentioned at the beginning, right? Like, I'm a rapper and blah 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 blah. But he mentions it now in this context to try to justify why it is that looks are a big deal for him, even though apparently they weren't a big deal to him 2 minutes ago, right? But he's a rapper, which, to be fair, we just said, like, he put all those tattoos on his face. There's only so many careers he can do, right? But I guess that's what it is. But I'm very confused now about this man, because he wouldn't date a 20-year-old, right? Because they're too young, but age ain't nothing but a number. And age ain't nothing but a number, because it's not about how many years in your life, but how much life in your years. So maturity is everything. Like, he's just saying things. I don't think any of this means anything. Right.
Going back and forth. Whatever sounds good. Looks don't matter, but you know what? I'm big in the looks department. Like, what? She ain't got to be young. I don't date young girls, but you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number. And, you know, sometimes a 20-year-old got a lot of life they done lived. So that could be the maturity I'm looking for.
Right. You know, and big girls need love too, but he don't date no big girls. But he is a chef, so he likes to feed the women.
Everybody deserves the love. Everybody deserves somebody.
Right, just not from him. Right, but they definitely deserve love. Let's be clear on this. They deserve love, not from him. He's a chef, but we never hear him talk about being a chef again. I don't know, maybe because he figures too many of the big girls he don't date will show up in his inbox. I don't know. I mean, like, it's so all over the place.
Emmanuel, don't forget motivational speaker. You got to throw that one in there too. He's a motivational speaker. We cannot forget that one.
Right.
Well, the way I look at it too, he does a lot, and he hasn't been out a long time. You know, he hasn't really been out there mingling. I'm sure he'd do some gigs and stuff as far as motivation and speaking and all this he's saying, but as far as conversations with people and interacting, he doesn't have that experience. So I don't expect him to have it all together when he, explains himself. Also, he said he was toxic. I'm wondering in what way, because he said they told him.
He said they said, and
right,
I don't know who they is.
So
I'm
that
trying to
means
figure out
when he
who
dated,
they
he
was.
tried.
Yeah.
Right. So that's interesting. That you always keep that in the back of your mind, because maybe you'll get the answer at the end from him, or you just have to make up your own assumption.
So yeah, let's not gloss over that. He actually said it from his own mouth. They say I'm toxic, which says that's a huge red flag. So if someone has called him toxic, he has displayed some behavior that would make someone say that,
Right.
And the fact that he actually from his own mouth said, I wasn't raised right. I wasn't raised right. I've had an effed up life.
Yeah. So you have to take all that into account. So.
He had an effed up life. He wasn't raised right. He spent 11 years of his life in prison. The baby mama took the baby away from him you know, because she wanted to run the streets and he wanted to be a good man, but he didn't take the kid with him or try to get the kid, but he just let the old wayward mama have the baby.
Is his name even on the birth certificate? Did he even sign for the baby?
No, because he was in prison.
They send the blood test and whatchamacallit to the prison. But he talking in code. Y'all don't understand what he's saying.
Oh, well, girl, give us your opinion.
This is what he's saying. He's saying, when I got out on my work release, they like inmates that's working in the community and who are holding down a job for a little bit to come back and give motivational speeches because they're going to help them get a place. And part of them helping them get a place is coming back and telling the other inmates who are on work release or in stages how easy it is and good it is to work in the community. So it's not a paid gig. It's part of his pay for play. Hey, y'all gonna help me get housing because I'm a newly released inmate thing. And the reason why he think women tricking for dinners is because he used to trick for ramen noodles in prison. So he just talking in code. You got to know the prison lingo to know what he talking about.
Girl, get us up on the code. The prison code.
Yeah. He know he was tricking for meals in prison because ain't nobody put no money on his books. And so he expect women to be tricking for meals in the real world. You know, the projection be real.
Nobody that damn hungry. You know, I unless you in prison.
Yes, but yeah, they do have inmates come out and speak. A lot of times they get them in college courses or some type of courses. They'll get them a job and they get them some housing for like up to a year. But they have to do their part too. So that's the motivational speaking part. But you know, they say housewives are domestic engineers.
Well, yeah, I've heard that.
I don't know, man. From what I hear, he has about 17 different streams of income, right? We only heard of a few so far, but they keep popping up every couple minutes, right? So he's a chef, he's an author, he's a motivational
That means he worked in the kitchen. He worked in the kitchen.
He's a rapper.
And you know what? He did touch on something a little lightweight. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I mean, he did throw out a little bit of his colorism. He on the light skin thing.
He did. They like them light skinned men in prison too. They like them light in prison, just like they like them light in the real. That women's light in the real world. They like their men's light in prison too. So, you know, if they're gonna be the girl, and when you work in the prison, you do a lot of different jobs. You may work in the kitchen, and they call it you know, when you got to distinguish: are you a chef or are you a cook? Big deal difference. And then they may change them to do landscaping because, you know, they got to go out in the community and they got the motor yard. You see them on the side of the road, that orange jumpsuit when they had state jail. So he might have landscaping and horticulture. And he probably got a whole bunch of different degrees. You know, a barber. He might have been a barber, a prison barber. So, you know, he might got about 5, 6, 7, 8 skill sets. You know, prison teach you a lot of skills if you go back and stay long enough.
Well, he got a decade in. He got a decade under his belt, so I know he got some skills.
He got great skill set. And floors, you know, they have to keep the floors dusted. Waxed and buffed for inspection. So, you know, he might be a floor technician. But yeah, he got to break the code. I just wanted to come and break down the code for y'all and listen to all the stuff he be saying.
I appreciate it. And that makes sense though, as far as get your skills, use that. I mean, even if you volunteer, they tell you put that on a resume. So why wouldn't he put that on his resume? He did it. So hey, I understand.
My friend ran into an inmate at the community college. She was going to get her RN. She was an LPN going to get her RN at the community college. And she ran into the inmate she used to give meds to in the prison. Because they have the program. So, yeah.
Wow. Small world.
Yeah. I listen from the clouds.
All right. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know with the time that he had available, that's where the writing comes in. The rapping, well, I guess he wrote some rap too. What else? What else we mentioned? Oh, the chef. Right. He did that. And then for the cooking, you know, that's a job within the prison system. So, shoot, you can really get some good skills there. So, okay. All right. Shall we continue?
Let's carry on.
All right.
wasn't raised right. I became the man I became on my own. So it can go both ways. But
so what is the
I'm
age?
big on I'm 36. I say about the lowest I go as far as dating a woman for my age has to be at least about 27, 28.
27, 28. Okay, and what's the oldest?
I say about 40.
40. Okay.
45, somewhere around there.
All right, so 27 to 40. Okay. Does she have to live in Atlanta?
Oh, that's a good ass question. I mean, it depends. I can do a long distance relationship. But if it actually comes to the point of time that we decide to get serious, of course, somebody has to relocate.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's basically like I'm a very affectionate person. I like going out on dates. I like cuddling. I like holding hands, kissing in public. And to be dating with somebody or trying to take somebody serious that stays in another state, it'll bring some discrepancies, in the situation. So, but I mean, for starters, I wouldn't mind them.
Okay, you wouldn't mind. All right.
Yeah.
Does a woman gotta make a certain amount of money to be with you?
No.
No. All right, so this is White here, Atlanta, a chef, has a 5-year-old son, 36. He told us he was once in prison. He's been out of prison now for 4 years. He'll date 27 to 40. He's a Libra. He's also a musician, a poet. He wrote a book. He's an author. Why would a woman be lucky to be with you?
I guess because I bring a lot to the table. I'm probably like one of the very few men that actually don't mind catering to females. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay,
they just have to find out.
They're asking me in the comments to ask you, are you on probation? Can you travel?
No, I'm not on probation and I can't travel.
Yes, you can travel. Okay. All right, Wakir, let's do it. What's your Instagram name?
The Best Rap. It's at The Best Rap. No lower cases. I mean, no capital letters, no underscores, no nothing.
So The Best Rap. THEBEST Rap. All right. So before you go, give me 20 seconds of you rapping. What you got?
Okay. What you want to hear? I got some positivity.
It's up to you. Whatever you want to give to people. 20 seconds though.
All right. Okay, I got something. I say, change is the process. No change, no progress. Life's a bitch in a prom dress that's being pimped by Congress. And I'm just saying that we don't take heed to the context, blacks will continue to be objects trapped inside the projects. That's why they leave us jobless to turn us into convicts so we can be discriminated against education and public housing. While people slouching on their couches because the white man's scared of an arousal. Everybody won't respect money and power, but what if the money was ours? It was my people who built this country off their back and shed blood, sweat, and tears for hundreds of hours. Now you running for council while black people getting hunted like scoundrels.
Got you.
And,
Black History Month. That's right.
That's why I hit that, because it is Black History Month. So I said, I might as well hit a little something.
Wakir, I want to appreciate your vulnerability, your honesty, your transparency. I pray that your life goes into the new direction in which you're telling us about. And thank you for coming on the show. Ladies, if you're interested, you know what to do. 27 to 40. He does not mind if you have kids. He is open to having more kids. He desires for you to be in the Atlanta area. Not a gold digger, but he is a provider. You do got to be attractive to him. And let's see what it does.
All right. Anyone signing up is what I like to know. Going once. Going twice. 3. No? Okay. I definitely will give him a chance when it comes down to employment. I think he deserves that chance. If I had a company, yeah, come on and work. Let's see what you do. Give you a chance because you got to get back out there. He lost a lot of time as a young man, and he came out. Was still a hothead, with that baby mama situation.
Mm-hmm.
Got into it with the police, and you already know you're gonna lose that round. So
right.
He must have really gave that officer some work, because otherwise they would have probably gave him some probation or something. But no, he had to give that officer some work. And so he ended up serving some time with that. But he is trying. That's a good thing. Now, as far as the type of woman, of course, he can get someone. He's not undateable. It's just who he's going to get is going to be. It might be a little mm, challenging for what he's looking for. He said that he'll be out in public. Well, you can be out in public, but you may not get that type of woman that you're looking for. That's going to look nice on the cover of your CD. She won't be doing no modeling or anything like that. But he does deserve a second chance, like I said. But with who? That all depends. But you have seen many people that have had records, even called from jail and came on the show. So it's a lot of women out there. Um, they don't have that problem. They have no problem dating you. We've done stories on the show on Saturdays. What's that? I forgot the article I did where the lady was waiting for. She was in her car and she told the judge, "Yeah, he can come and stay with me. They're looking for to hire him." But I can't remember what the story was. So just to say, women they will date you with records. They will.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. So, but my question is, with everything that he has going on,
Mm-hmm.
how picky is he gonna be? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what does he think is gonna line up to be dating him with his resume or lack thereof? Um, that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see what his pickings were and what he thought about them, you know, because he's very he did a lot of double talking with the I don't looks don't matter, but oh, I'm
Right.
a rapper, so she gotta, look a certain type of way. It's like, well, I mean, if you're looking for the little bad hottie with her nails and hair done, then it sounds like you're still on that rapper's type lifestyle. And at 36 and you're already a father, maybe you need to kind of leave that alone and go for where the real check is going to be paying out. It doesn't sound like rap's going to be going too far. Maybe take that motivational speaking a little bit further,
Mm-hmm. I mean, at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, he said two very important things. Number one, he said they, which means multiple people, call him toxic. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
sound like he has done absolutely anything to examine why people think he's toxic, what's toxic about him, or to do anything to resolve that. Number one. Number two, he has a whole ass child out there
Mm-hmm.
that for basically 4 years he has not seen, he has not been raising, and all he knows apparently is that the child is not in an ideal circumstance or situation, and yet honestly he's done very little to nothing about it whatsoever. um doesn't sound like this is the type of woman who has the means or resources or even intelligence, honestly, to just like disappear without a trace. She's just down the block. You don't just feel like looking. um
right?
you know
That.
what I mean? And so that tells me that he's not in a place really where he should be focusing on trying to date anybody new, right? He's got to get his own house in order as far as him taking care of himself, number one. And number two, bro, go find your kid. Go reestablish that connection, that relationship by any means. Because I
Mm-hmm.
keep hearing men complain about how expensive it is to go through the courts, to force the courts, into allowing them to see their kids. But the point is, you would rather spend that money on trying to date new chicks and buying them nails and crap,
Nails and hair.
right? Rather than paying a lawyer to be able to see your kid, who is the one who needs you. Because guess what? That chick doesn't need fake nails, but your son needs a father. You know what I mean? So it's like your priorities are so out of whack. That's my issue with this guy. Like his priorities are so out of whack. So a girl who has, similar out of whack priorities, yeah, I guess, but if you want to, you're looking marriage, a future you want to build, you're looking for a solid foundation. Like he's not the one. No one's signing up for that.
Yeah, that's true.
At all. That was.
Yeah, they're going to be in the same place as him, still trying to figure it out. And I understand why he's still trying to figure it out. You think about it. Shoot, he's as an adult, he been in more than he's been out. So hey, that's a lot of life that he's lost. A lot of opportunities to be an adult on the outside and have responsibilities on the outside. So
And
that is
and
not
he has
easy.
there's a huge lack of accountability on his part. He says that, he is the man that he is. He made himself be the man that he is now. But dude, you won't even take accountability for the armed robbery. You got caught up. I'm putting up air quotes. You got caught up in an armed robbery, but you're not a bad person.
Right. You don't rob people.
But somehow or another, that's on your jacket, your prison jacket as an armed robber. You have a kid and you want nothing more to be in that kid's life, but his mama was jealous and she took the baby away, so I'm gonna just let that go. Well, you're not gonna go get him, or you're not gonna try to see him, or because if you're living, the lifestyle that you're supposed to, you would be able to get rights to be able to see that kid. And like I was thinking the kid was already over 10, but the kid is 5 years old. That's still a little one, so you could still, be a great part of that kid's life, so, and like Ruby said, the mom's just down the block. She is not in some far off place where he can't find her and he don't know her grandma, her auntie, or her brother that he used to hang out with, her cousin that he used to mess with behind her back. Come on. You know where this girl is. You know where the kid is. And this is not of importance. A child that you help create is not of importance. It's actually getting the next chick. That's what's more important to him.
You better go try to find this young man. Go to every school there is and see if you can find that boy. Stay outside the school, whatever you need to do to find him, because he needs his father in his life, because if not, he's going to be the the mother's going to be the next statistic on YouTube because she didn't help her boy read.
And she definitely didn't choose right. She didn't choose right. She chose wrong. She for damn sure chose wrong.
Right. So we already know she's going to be included in that. But I like what Kojo mentioned, the drugs and prison delay developmental growth. And I get that. That's why I was saying, I'm not, saying this man is a star, but I'm saying that I do understand if you're missing out on a lot of things. And shoot, a lot of them do some type of drug just to get by. They make some stuff up just to get by. So that's really jacked up. But yeah, his development, and then let me also say this, Vonda. I don't know his situation because he didn't go into details and we didn't see his jacket, but you can be caught up in a group of folk, and because that one guy had the pistol or gun and he was going to rob, and you were in the car in the back seat, don't matter, you're going to catch it too. You're going to catch a charge. So I don't know what his role was or anything, but
hey. Actually, that leads me to a story. Okay. Yeah, story time with Ruby. Now it's my direct story, but when I was 15, right, and so we used to hang out at the bus terminal. Okay, just saying. And this was the era where everybody was trying to get pregnant, I swear to God, to be a baby mama, baby daddy. It was new here. We didn't really have those terms before, and it was like a thing. And people were buying that stupid ring. I told y'all about that stupid ring. Anyway, right? So now I remember I was hanging out with this group of, we're a little hooligan-ish, right? But like not like horrible. And this boy hit on me. Right? I remember he said, "Anyone ever tell you look like Aaliyah?" Yeah, all the time. Now that I have my weave, right? But I was like, no, thanks. And so he got my number and stuff, and he's like, I called him, and like he was 2 years older than me, 17, but he was going to prison the next day. Jill talk.
What?
Okay. And yeah, he was going to prison the next day, but it's like kiddie prison, right? Because he's 17. And he was going to spend his birthday, turning 18, which was like in say 4 or 5 months from then. He was going to spend it in prison, but they were letting him stay in kiddie prison because, you know, he was only going to stay another extra, we'll say, not even a whole month. Right. So in total, he was going to be in prison for about 6 months. What was he in prison for? It was some type of robbery. Okay. He didn't do it. Now, did anyone go to prison with him? No, it was just him. I'm going to explain to you what happened. He was that guy, the one that's a little dumber than the group of guys. You know, he's the loser of the group, let's say, right? And the other guys, they're the thugs, they're the troublemakers, they're the cool guys, they're the whatever, right? And they have this hanger-on guy who's desperate to be cool too, who's desperate to be down, who's desperate. And so they did some type of robbery thing, whatever it was, and they basically handed some of the stuff that, you know, I can't remember what weapon it was and the mask and whatever to him and whatever. Ultimately, what it came down to is the guy said, yo, if you just cop this plea, you're 17, you won't do long, and da, you know, yo, take one for the team, basically, right? Like, be down.
No.
And so he said he did it. Be down. Didn't rat on anyone else. To be down. You think when he came out of prison, they care? They think they were super loyal and like, oh yeah, he's the best. No, of course not, right? But the point is, yeah, he really did have that charge, and he wasn't even there. He didn't even know exactly what happened. He had to be told details by the guys who were there, so that way he could give the police enough that they would believe, yeah, they really got the right person, and kind of like stop looking for the right people. Yeah. So some people do that, but you know, and I was thinking about that because I did know this guy, right? And I'll just say, if that's what you did, that's even worse. That actually says that you were kind of, you know, as lost as I feel like he is now, he was that lost then. You know what I mean? And that much of a follower, and that desperate to be cool, and that desperate to be regarded as a peer by, you know, other men, and other men look down on him or use him or whatever. And I'm like, if that's the case, because that's really the only way that you're going down for something that all your friends did, but you really didn't do, right? It's like, that's an even worse message. You might as well just tell people you did it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather date the guy who did it at 16 and say, oh, it was a bad plan. I know I shouldn't have done it, right? I'd rather date that guy than the one I dated for a few months. Oh my God. And he was that much of a loser. He really was. And he still is. No disrespect, but he is. That was one of the moms that told me I am better than her son. And his sister too. I ended up being friends with his sister and everything. And he just like, he's still messaging me to this day. It's over 20 years later. He'll just send a random message from Facebook, or he'll start a new account. And is this the woman that captured my heart decades ago? I'll always love you. I told the girl I was dating last week, yeah, you know, that there's this girl, her name was Ruthie, and no one will ever be able to measure up to her. Bro, I dated you for 4 or 5, maybe 6 months. I can't remember. It wasn't that long, right? It's not even like a year. And most of the time, you were in prison. Kiddie prison, but still, most of the time. And you have been comparing women, and you're super in love with me, and blah, blah, blah. Bro, I met you the day before you went into prison. It's not even like we had to establish some deep bond before it happened. Do you know what I mean? And this guy is still like hyper obsessed with me decades and decades later. Really? So I don't know. Maybe that's what triggered inside of me listening to this guy. There was a lot of me thinking that about him, like making him like this ex of mine. But I'm like, oh, he's not exactly saying that, but he is. Because even my ex, he thinks he's a rapper too, right? Amongst many other things that he says he is. But if you really push and examine it, he's not making money from any of those things, right? Like at all. He's living with his brother. It's not because he has a criminal record and blah, blah. It's because he's lazy and incompetent and has no actual internal drive, right? He really wants another mother. He doesn't really want to be the man or have, put the pants on in the relationship and whatever. That's why he doesn't have any like set standards, because he doesn't really care. He just wants someone to, maybe actually sleep with him. Yay. And otherwise take care of him and take care of the bills and stuff so he can just live.
He just wants someone to love him. That's what he sounds like to me. He doesn't even sound like he has a plan with what he's trying to do with his life. He threw out some, professions, chef, author, rapper, motivational speaker.
Right.
But he never talked about any types of goals. He's really in the present. He's in the here and now. And he's looking for a girlfriend. He's looking for someone to be booed up with, someone to hold hands with, someone to, hug and kiss and, be with. But I'm sorry, everybody deserves a second chance. But the second chance that he gets, it's
not even a girl in the hood.
He just needs to keep his options open, because I don't know if he what he think he gonna get, with the way that he presented. And like you say, Char, it's not saying that he's not going to get anything, because, women do some crazy things, and you'd be surprised. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe this girl. Hey, it may just happen. It may just happen. But just realistically speaking, a woman does not have to be a gold digger to pass him up. Your average low budget woman who, with 4 kids, with 5 different men, could easily pass him up, because there's nothing to say, oh my God, I've been looking for somebody like that. I can't believe it. And I'm watching Kendra and there he is.
Hold on. So this says, hey, the story is a huge fabrication of the real story, which is mine, but okay, y'all can carry on with your bad self. Take care. What are you talking about?
Maybe we found the mother. We found her.
Who is this? Like,
yeah,
okay,
we found the mother.
Okay. Which part of this is your story, honey? Why don't you come up and explain? Because I have no idea what you're talking about, first of all. Second of all, I told my personal story like 2 minutes ago, and that definitely wasn't a fabrication of your life, because it was an actual real thing that really happened in mine. So I don't know about that. And then we're just talking about what this guy literally said online, publicly. So I don't know why that would offend you personally, unless you're the mom. I mean, you could be the baby mom, which in that case, listen, girl, we got questions for you.
Yeah.
Boy, do we ever have questions for you.
I got questions. Yes.
Right? Like, I want to know if he had them tattoos on his face before or after you got pregnant with his child. That would be number one. Number two, we're a little bit confused how he could get constant information from friends and family and stuff that you're raising his kid wrong, but he can't find you and his kid. We're not really sure that sounds probable. So we would love to hear about that. So really and truly, if this is your life, speak on it, girl. No, there's a link right there in the chat.
Okay. Put us together, Sapphire. Let us know what the deal is. I mean, we're just speculating from a story that we all just watched. Right.
Yeah, what they say is his side, her side, and the truth.
Right. I'm just saying. We never, just to be clear, we never actually claim that our opinions are fact, because there are opinions.
Right.
right?
Everybody got one like a booty hole. We all got one.
Right. And if my opinion offended you, I am not sorry. I'm just gonna say that because I said what I said and I meant what I said. Um, right. And as the mademoiselle would say, and I'd say it again. So, but that being said, I would still love to hear, by all means, come correct me, girl. Come correct me. No, you ain't coming. That's weird. I really want to know what that means. I'm so fascinated by that. I think this is the first time that has ever happened to us, Char. So Kim,
Yeah.
that's my story, and you wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the mom. That's who that is. That's the mom.
Hey,
And she's gonna, because when, like, for this show, I enjoy her show because she asks some questions. She asks just enough amount of questions that you, the audience, can interpret enough to decide if you would like to go forward and reach out to that person.
mm-hmm.
Now, of course,
Right.
now if he was on the show, we would ask him, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? Well, what happened here? We'd ask more questions or whatever, but her show is perfect. It's just enough to let him or anyone give their information, what they want to give. And if you're interested, you follow up.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you get all those extra details like, well, what did you mean when you say they say that you're toxic? Well,
Right.
why did they
That's what
say
I would
that?
want to know. Who is they? I want to know
Right.
if the they were all the women you were involved with. That are they the they? Because like dudes, there are not dudes. His boys are not saying, "Man, you toxic." There are no
Mm-hmm.
dudes calling him toxic. The
Yeah,
words
No.
it's the women.
toxic they're coming from women. It's coming from
Mm-hmm.
women.
Right.
Right.
And I would like to know what event happened that they
Mm-hmm.
said that. And then he would
Exactly.
explain to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, which toxic may really mean possessive, you know?
Right.
It could mean
Right.
just that. And I could see why he would be possessive. Because, we know of people that um, have lack of family
Mm-hmm.
and they feel some kind of way when it comes down to people. So we've seen people act a certain way. So it could be the same for him. Shoot, he left what, 16 years old? Just shoot, he didn't get a chance to even live. And then
Mm-hmm.
he's gone for a while and then come back out trying to get his foot on solid ground. And then he's dating, he's out there making his money. And then
Mm-hmm.
he's sent back or he's gone back to prison. This time he got a child. His mind is different because a lot of times men minds, they do change. And he said he had
Mm-hmm.
a goal. He wanted to, change that rhetoric that you hear about the family. So he wanted his son. And
Mm-hmm.
but as far as what's going on now, that this he hadn't seen a son in 2 years. The mother picked him up from the birthday party and
Right.
hadn't seen him since.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we can ask some questions. Okay, well, what happens now? Um,
Right.
and
Right.
now I'm gonna say this because I've seen stuff happen. Sometimes it can take someone else, whether it's woman or man, to have a conversation with you and you discuss some things, and then you like, wait a minute, I didn't know that. I didn't know I could do that, or I did feel a little defeated. Okay, I'm gonna look into that and see. I'm gonna try that.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his he mentioned that he has some. Let me see, what was the term? He didn't say mental, but I think he might have said depression or something like that. So sometimes when you get in that state, you don't move forward. You just have enough energy just to do your daily routine. He
True.
could have been in that state. I don't know. And him talking to someone and hopefully whoever hit him up in the DM, will they have that conversation and kind of say, hey, well, what's going on with your son? And give him some information because In my opinion, that is a good thing to do when you start talking to people. And just for me, I'm just a problem solver. I just can't help myself. So we get to talking, and even though it's supposed to be getting to know each other to date, I'm solving problems as soon as I hear them. Oh, well, did you look into that? Well, did you know that you can go down here and do that? What? No, I didn't know that. Well, yeah. Now, when I do that, because I have done that with guys I dated when I was younger, some guys didn't realize that they can get a bank account. They were still going to the currency exchange to cash their check. I'm like, why are you giving the currency exchange $3 or $4
every
for the
time?
little money that we make when you get a bank account? All you need is to start off with $100. What? Yeah. And I've actually taken a guy. This supposed to been our date, our date. we going to the bank. I'm taking him to the bank so he can open up an account. So I've just always been like that, trying to give information. I've just always been that way. So that's what I would be doing. So hopefully this guy and anyone else that may need some help, they have a conversation and find out some things. So even if they don't jive and get together and things work out, at least the man or woman can learn something and go on about their merry way. And I think that's another issue. And I could say issue or situation. I'll just say situation that I have where it's hard for um, the guys that I've dated or even just talked to shake them because I'm just genuine like that. I want to solve the problem. And if I smell something that just won't work for me and I don't get a chance to date you or only go out with you one time and I break it off, hush, Don Teasy.
I'm waiting for him to say something.
Right? You might hope he went to bed or something.
I'm just waiting for him to show up.
Okay. Sometimes hard to shake because I've given them something. So I've always, with relationships I've had, I've always gave something that they're going to remember me by. They can be married with children, lived in grandpa or whatever they are. They're like, I remember that girl, Char, she told me this, that changed my life. I didn't even know that. That girl is different. But I've always been like that. I've just always been genuine like that. I just can't help myself. Just in me. And so that's why, with this story, this guy, for me, no, I personally would not date him. But if I've had a conversation with him, I will send him in a direction to find that son. I would give him some ideas. I would look on online. I would do whatever. And this is just a conversation because you can talk on the phone and Google on your computer at the same time. You could do that. And that would be something that we would be doing.
And you are a sweet, wonderful woman, Char, to do that. And you know what? I think, to be honest, the average woman, would do that. But it seems to me at some point, it's like, I personally wouldn't date someone like that. And I for damn sure would not introduce him to a niece, a cousin, a friend. To any woman that I loved and cared for a great deal, I would not be introducing him to any of them. My mode would be more or less to put him, in a direction to where, he appears to be wanting to go. Like you say, what about, Junior? Don't you want to, figure out where he's at? And this fool talking about, oh yeah, I have more kids. Right. Okay, you want to have more kids, but you have this unfinished business with this 5-year-old. This kid is still little. He's still little to where, a dad can make a difference in his life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and you know what? And to be honest, I really think Char, he seems like someone who would be open to what you'd have to say. He seemed like he would be open. There are some men that just don't take instruction or direction very well from women, period.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how good or bad the advice is,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
True.
he doesn't strike me as that type. It seems like if he got some, oh, maybe you should do this, he'd be like, oh yeah, because for me, it doesn't even look like he has a direction. He doesn't have a solid direction. So not only would his past be off-putting, but the way that he's talking, why would I introduce him to someone, a chick that I cared about, be like, oh yeah, girl, go on and get with, Shabadoo, because no, don't you dare. No, I don't have anybody you can meet. But I have a little bit of advice for you if you want to hear it. That's where I would be with him.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. You know what? I mean, there is a lot to be said for trauma and, being developmentally delayed, mentally, emotionally, at the place in which that trauma occurs and whatever. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, like I said, his priorities aren't priorities. His what he says he wants doesn't line up, right? So he would date a woman 27 to 40. So he would date a 40-year-old woman knowing that he wants more children. I mean, why would you start dating a woman now who's 40, right? And then, obviously relationships take a while to build and whatever, but you're going to want more children. So then a couple of years, you're ready to get married now, whatever. And now she's 42, 43. Like, that doesn't seem like the ideal thing that you would search for. But it's like, you're just going to say that. I don't know. Are you just trying to be nice and inclusive? Or is it because you don't actually really want more children, but you just think it would sound bad if you didn't say, I want more children? Like, it just seems like we didn't quite get the full real accounting of what this man is looking for. I think it's just because he doesn't know. It's like asking, I think we go back and ask a 16-year-old the same questions we asked him, we're going to get similar answers. And they're just going to sound like they're all over the place. They're going to sound a little bit idealistic. They're going to be pursuing many different streams, but none of them fully, right? Not really grounded in anything, not really fully self-actualized in any way. Not in a place where you have succeeded and overcome, but yet you're writing books and giving motivational speeches on how to succeed and overcome. Like, he's written 3 books, 3. In 4 years, he's written 3 books about succeeding and overcoming and whatever. Like, you just got out of prison. And you were like, I got out of prison 6 months ago. I'm not going to write a book about being successfully out of prison. Like, no. You just got out. I know there's nothing you could have accomplished. How are you going to tell people how to change your life from this and that, and when you haven't really done it yet? It's like, I knew a guy, and that's actually exactly what he wanted to be, a motivational speaker. He wanted to write those books and whatever. He saw it as like an easy, almost ploy, shall we say, to make money. And he's like, yeah, my life was extra screwed up, and to his credit, it was, right? But it's like, dude, you can't just accomplish nothing and then, start selling your services and books and whatever about how to accomplish something, about how to be successful when you're not successful. Like, I mean, you could run a YouTube channel on it, right? But like, in reality, people will look up your credentials. This was before YouTube. This was before this era of time where you could get away with it for a while, right? And that's the whole thing. Some people are like, I want to do this, but they don't want to put in the hard work, the foundation, to try to build first and then go back and teach people how they built what they built. They just want to start speaking about how you could build and you could be successful too, and you could come out of the muck too, and blah, 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 blah. And the friend I'm talking about, well, 7 years later, he sat inside of a shelter while paying off his student loans, because he had taken out student loans, never actually really went to school though with them, right? Paying off his student loans so he could go to school. He went to college, which is community college for y'all as a mature student, because he had never graduated high school. So he could get into university, right? So he could get his university degree. So then once he had done like he had changed his whole entire life. He went from being a homeless addict in a shelter, right? To now he actually lives somewhere with roommates, but sure, I mean, school is expensive. And going to school, knowing stuff about math, English, writing, stuff like that he just never thought he would ever understand, ever. He just thought he was too stupid to understand these things. And now actually having that history or the education in business management and whatever. And then he did start actually doing motivational speaking, and people paid him to hear about the from prison to school pipeline and how did you manage that and whatever. But he had to put in a foundation first. When I first talked to him, he was still on drugs and drinking, saying he just wanted this to just happen. Right? It's like, no, that's not how it works. And then, he only got back to it after he had built something in his life. And I feel like this guy has not established himself, his life, his goals, his aspirations. Like he has hopes and dreams and aspirations, but he doesn't really have anything solid that he could be really talking about. And I think he needs to take a step back and figure some of this stuff out. I don't know why Kendra didn't ask about the toxic thing. I really wish we had heard a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but I do understand because there, if you push a little bit, sometimes it kind of messes up, but I get it. She got her few questions that are standard for the show, and so I do get that.
I feel
And
like
to
she
be
was.
honest, this guy's very likable. He was not, I mean, there are some of those guys that have come on and their attitudes, stunk. His attitude is not, it wasn't terrible at all. I really think, genuinely he's a, quote unquote, nice guy, but I mean, he wasn't off-putting at all. But when you listen to the totality of all of the things that he listed, even the stuff he wasn't so, upfront about it's what he said, that you're like, yeah, baby boy, I don't think you're ready for dating right now, but these are some things that it looks like, could possibly help you,
Right.
And I think he would be open to it. I totally, completely think he would be open to it.
Yeah. I think he's the kind of man. I saw this happen on another channel recently where a guy came on and he honestly was a mess. Again, same type of really friendly personality and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And what he really needed was some male role models. And we like to talk about male role models like only children have them. But again, when people aren't raised correctly, and they're also not raised in an environment where they see other people often raised correctly, right? And then they get stunted in their growth, and they don't ever do anything like, say, go to college or university to gain, deeper perspectives on how people are supposed to live and whatever. Then how the hell else are they supposed to know how to get from where they are to where, somewhere internally is telling them they would like to be, as far as who they are, what they're about, like, how do you know how to be a clean, tidy, organized person? Seriously. People who are really clean and organized and stuff, they don't understand how disaster cases like me happen, right? And they think it's such an easy thing because it's so easy for them. But it's like, no, it's easy for you. It's habit for you. It's something that you just understand inherently, right? Whereas in someone like me, I make a mess without meaning to. I really do. It's crazy. And I mean, in a matter of 10 minutes, I can sit in a room for 10 minutes and make it a disaster. And I don't even know how I did it. I will be sitting still, not move at all, and lose my phone, lose my vape, lose a remote, and I haven't moved. And no one can find it. It will take us like hours to find it. How did I lose it that deeply when I haven't moved? Right? But like some people, you don't understand. But the thing is, it honestly has to do with conditioning. No one conditioned me to do better. I'm not even kidding. When I was a kid. And so now as an adult, I have to reparent myself. I'm going to have to recondition myself to do better. And I have to keep doing it and keep doing it. It's like baby steps for years and years and years. But when you don't even know that what the problem is, you can't even start attacking it and trying to recondition yourself in it, right? Because you don't know. And I think that's what we see a lot in guys like this. Like, he doesn't exactly know where he's going wrong. He doesn't exactly get it. I think if we asked him about toxic, I don't think he could tell us exactly what it is, right? He would have to tell us a whole entire story about a relationship he was in, and then we would pick up on what the toxic things were. But he wouldn't know. He would just know that this situation is what everyone called toxic and told him he was being toxic in it. But he couldn't tell you why it was toxic. What was toxic about it? He has no idea. Right? I think that's what it is. And I think those types of guys really benefit from peer role models. And I think we need to advertise or encourage that more often. Equal age, or maybe a little bit older, or sometimes even younger, depends, right? Peer role models, peer helpers in essence, I guess life coaches, like freer ones than that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would help. That would surely help. Because he didn't have it. I mean, I don't know what happened to him from, okay, so he didn't have the mom after 2 years old. Was there another woman in his life? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he said he was dating a woman that was not the baby mom's, and that's the one who still talks to him. But like they're not together. But I don't know how many women he's dated. I mean, even that, between 16 and this age, he was in prison for a total of 11 years, right? Which means between 16 and this age, only half of it he was out of prison, right? And we don't even know for how long at one time he was out of prison, right? Was it, just the 2 prison things? It sounded like he was about to go into a list of a whole bunch of them. I don't know, right? And so you're only out for a few months at a time. If that's the case, he hasn't really had a chance to grow and develop and really have relationships that don't end prematurely because he's in prison again or whatever for his entire adult life. So I don't know. How is he going to do now with his toxic self?
Yeah, that is.
Well, he needs to first take accountability for what is being said that's toxic in him. There's a situation like Ruby said, he can, name the time, where, this situation happened with, old girl over here. And this was what was, considered toxic. But like I said, it was a woman who called him toxic. It was not no damn man. It was women, a woman or women.
It was 2 of them because he said, because I remember he mentioned he dated 2 women. And then, so I figure if he said he dated 2, and then when he mentioned they, I accept, I just say, okay, well, those 2 were the ones that call him toxic. Now, out of the they, I don't know if one of them is his friend now, but I definitely count 3 women that he slept with. The woman he got pregnant, and then the 2 that he dated. For sure.
Right. But that's, I'm not saying that, we should encourage hoe culture. I'm just saying that, 3 women, I don't know about the other ones. I know that the baby mother was not even a relationship.
Right.
So how many of those women you slept with were sleeping with a woman in the context of a relationship? Like, I love you, you love me, we're going to build something together. Let's see how it goes. Like, I don't know. Right.
Well, I think after he got out, he wanted to have a relationship after the mother, took the child. But when he said he was 16 and a minute. Well, the woman was pregnant and it wasn't a relationship. He said that pregnancy was on purpose on his side because he thought having a child would change him.
Would change him. Yeah.
Right.
Push him in the right direction. Because apparently he was making wrong decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, the mindset. Think about that's an interesting mindset,
You know what? For some reason, looking at this dude and just listening to him talk, he says he's 36, but I don't know why I put him in his mid to late 20s. And I'm not going to even say necessarily that he looks that young, but it's just the way that he talks. This man is closer to 40 than he is to 30. And he doesn't sound like it. And even to have spent a decade in prison, there's not even a a level of, hardness that I hear in him, to where it's like, like he's got some things figured out. He still seems very young-minded, and that could be because of the time that he went into prison. He was, a teenager. So when he went in, he wasn't even a man, but he had to, quote unquote, grow into a man's age in there, and the only role models you have are other criminals.
Right.
So he seemed to me, he seems, I when I hear him talk and the way he says things, he seems to be like he's 22 years old. He does not seem older than 22, the way that he talks.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a different world too. We have to remember that the whole world of prison, right, is different. And you don't even have to know what particular prison to understand, because different prisons have different, politics and whatever. But just think of the little things, like how much touch, when we're around human beings, how much touch is part of our day-to-day lives. Whereas in prison, touch is not part of your life at all, unless it's in some type of violence. Or blowing off steams. Honestly, sometimes prisoners will instigate, a SWAT team coming for them. Honestly, just to get some type of contact and special attention. Crazy as that seems. Like, we can't imagine, right? We live our world, so we can't imagine intentionally trying to SWAT ourselves just so we can get some attention today, right? Or because we're just upset or frustrated. Like, they do that. It's a different world, and it has a completely different system to it. And it is really, honestly, nothing like the real world, nor does it prepare you for the real world in any way. It prepares you to live in prison and to survive in prison under prison rules. And then you come out and stuff like your little respect issues and whatever that you got going on because of prison. Guess what? Yeah, no one cares about that out here. Right? That's not the way life works. You will get yourself locked up over trying to enforce over some respect thing, right? Like, in that same way, it's totally different rules, and what we need to realize, I think, sometimes when we're evaluating, it's like, well, yeah, in a way, oh, you went to prison for 25 years and you went in when you were 17. Okay, well, then your development in the real world stopped when you were 17, max, right? And then for 25 years you lived in prison land. You might as well have been in Mars, right? Like, it's a completely different world. And then now they released you out into the world, and you're still 17. You have all the growth and development of the 17-year-old who left, right? That 3 months that you worked at Subway, yeah, that's all your work experience, right? That girl that you kissed at prom, yeah, that's the only girl you kissed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all you have is everything up until that moment you went in. So you're a completely different age, though. When you're 17 and you have no work experience, that's cool. When you're 36 and you have no work experience, people just wonder why you haven't been working.
Yeah, that's not so cool.
Not anymore. Right? Different world. So, I mean, I get that. I'll just say, brother, listen, laser surgery is real. You can absolutely remove the tattoos from your face. Also, until you can afford to remove the tattoos, they actually make cover-ups. Okay. You put them over the tattoo. It makes the tattoo disappear, like you don't have it anymore. And it's like it'll stay all day. Okay, solidly. It's not like crazy. Oh, you have to put eyeshadow on. No, whatever. You can literally just cover the tattoos. And I think you should do that. You're talking about wanting to change your life. I understand. Oh, it's a testimony, whatever. And when you want to talk to the young bucks who are about to sign up to a gang and stuff to inspire them to do better, cool. Leave the tattoos out. But in the reality where you're saying you want more children and you want to build a certain kind of life and you want to go a different route, the fact of the matter is, for the people who have not been to prison, who want to live that middle class and above lifestyle, who may or may not have kids but definitely want more kids and whatever, they're not signing up for the guy with the tattoos on his face. And even if they were going to, though, you know what's going to stop you in somewhere like America is that the life that already happens, the hardships you already have because you're a black man and they see a black man's face, period. When it comes to the police pulling you over, when it comes to, stop and frisk, when it comes to all these things, right? And then you're going to put those tattoos on your face and it's like you are lowering I'm going to say your level of safety and quality of life. And that's why I think it's important to remove those tattoos, and disassociate yourself from that. You can just speak words. You don't have to have it drawn on your face. You can speak the words, and you can live the inspiration, and people will get it whether you have tattoos on your face or not.
Yeah, and he mentioned, it's being his past, and he's not ashamed of it, but um, that's the part where the lack of maturity is. Um, he also understands that it's going to, offend some and push some away, but hey, you need to change that. You, it's time to. It was fine earlier, but now, as almost 40-year-old, no. You said, you finish with that life, hopefully, get your rage or whatever together, but that's behind you. You could talk about it, but you don't have to wear it. You don't have to
Right.
wear it. It's not a badge of
Exactly.
honor. You don't have to.
Exactly. Yes. Perfect words. Not a badge of honor. Um, and until you reconcile that, in a way, your life is never going to really change, because it's like you haven't quite let it go. You haven't quite let it go. It's
Mhm.
something else. It's not something it's something you should regret, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, let's be real, right? If I don't know, let's say I got a whole bunch of different piercings in a bunch of private areas, right, for my career in porn, right? And I get out of porn, and I want to live a different life now. I don't want to be in that lifestyle. I want to be respected and seen in a different way, and blah blah blah, right? If I keep all of those piercings in all my private areas, when I look at myself, I'm reminded of why I got the piercings to begin with, and it puts me in a particular mindset every time I look at myself, right? It keeps
Right.
a particular glass ceiling above me at all times. I personally can't break out of, right? Even though no one else can see the piercings, right? Because they're under my clothes. But the point is, I can see them, and I know they're there. The most powerful thing I could do is remove them. Remove these things that are a symbol of, I sell myself, I sell sex, I sell my body for money, and that is the height of my worth. Or I'm going to take out those symbols so I can look at myself and feel differently about myself when I look at myself, right? It's
Right.
important.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And it's a matter of saying, you know what, I can change, not him changing because someone is telling him to change.
Mhm.
It's changing because you want to do something different with yourself. You want to look in the mirror and see a different reminder of yourself.
Hmm.
Not to say that you're ashamed of it, but I mean, do you want to sit up there and look at, this mark on your face that you purposely put there, but when you got it, you were someone else and it meant something different then? Are you still saying you are of that? Now, the
Right.
one with his mother that represents his mother's going to always be his mother. She will have always have passed away. So
Hmm.
that one tattoo is in honor of her. But, the one on your forehead that says, kill, kill, um, you're still with that. I mean, I don't know what it says. I can't even read it, but it's like, you
Yeah.
still on that, or, you still want to walk around with that representation, or, are you
Mhm.
going to, change that? So you're absolutely correct. You do need to
Hmm.
change that. Um, you still see it. You look in the mirror and you wash your face and you see kill, kill on your forehead, but you're still okay with holding on to that. I mean,
Hmm.
it's like
Exactly.
you have to transform. You have to, you know, make yourself, the example of what it is that you see yourself as. Those are small improvements that you make on yourself. Like, someone that says, I'm put on a little bit too much weight. I'm going to lose 20 pounds, for my own personal, benefit.
Mhm.
So I mean, you sometimes we have to make those, commitments and sacrifices to ourselves.
Right.
Hmm. Exactly.
I'll be you know, I'll probably, I'm thinking about it anyway. I don't know. These people are looking for dates, love, sex, whatever they're looking for. I don't want to reach out to them to ask them to come to the show. I would like to, but I think I'll leave the folk alone. You know, maybe I will send them the link of the show if they're featured in it, and I'll leave it like that. And if they just tune in, then they just tune in. But I think I don't want to reach out, in that capacity. So, but I got questions.
Right.
I've got questions, but um, yeah. So that's it for that. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support, your likes, shares, and all that good stuff. Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for article reactions. We got those Kens and Karens for you.
Mm-hmm.
They are always available for you. Have a good old
Always.
time. Ken and
Mm-hmm.
Karen is always up to something. They can't help themselves. It's going to be the same thing every week. They up to something.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
promise you. Every year, all year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so all those that maybe came in late, just catch the replay. And hopefully you'll be able to tune in tomorrow. And until then, see you and be safe. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Peace out, family.